Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Now in this video, we're going to hear from the Og3 and Marley Shelton. They're going to give us their final word on Scream 5, as we are now only days away from the movie hitting theaters. I only have one question for you. Are you ready? Let's hit it. So first up in the video today, let's hear from Marley Shelton as she returns from Scream 4 to reprise her role as Judy Hicks, but this time she is the sheriff. What is Marley's final word on Scream 5?
I'm excited for audiences to see familiar faces and some surprise faces. I'm excited for them to get to go on the ride of a classic Scream movie with a lot of injections of fresh and new.
So in this clip, we hear Marley saying how she's excited for audiences to see some familiar faces and some surprise faces. Now, wait just a minute. Could that possibly mean that she's talking about the surprise of all surprises? Could this be one of the surprise faces she is referencing? It could be. That's all I'm saying, guys. It could be. Okay. Next, she shares how she is excited for us to get to go on the ride of a classic Scream movie, but with some injections of fresh and new. And I personally love this statement. I think it just reinforces what we've been talking about on this channel for seemingly ages now, which is how Radio Silence is honoring Wes Craven and the history of the franchise and what makes a Scream film a Scream film. It is just great to continue hearing this from other cast members, and especially the Og3 and Marley, who's been in a Scream film before. All of these things are just more great signs to me and confirmation that we are in for a treat. I really think we are. Okay, now let's move to our Og3. First up, we will hear from Neve Campbell as she gives us her final word on Scream 5. Here's what she had to say.
I'm excited for audiences to see a return to Woodsboro and also for audiences to see this new young cast, because I think they've done an incredible job. And I think and we see a lot of Dewey in this film, and I think it's really nice to see his journey. This film feels like coming back to the first energy, which is really nice.
So in this clip, we hear Neve's final word for Scream 5, and in it, she is excited for us to return to Woodsboro and to also see the new cast of characters that we will officially be meeting in the movie. I love how she mentioned that we will be seeing a lot of Dewey in this movie, and she makes what may be a very revealing comment. Now guys, you guys know I've held the position for months now that Dewey is going to die in Scream 5. I don't want him to. I've wanted him to live ever since the thing was announced, but I'm just telling you, I've been saying here on my channel that since this thing came up and to this day, I have felt he was not going to survive the movie. And I think that the marketing materials that have come out, the trailers, everything, they are positioning us to be prepared for Dewey to not survive. I think they are preparing the OG fans, all of us legacy fans, to be ready for this to happen. I felt very strongly about that. But I have to tell you, after hearing Neve's final word, I'm actually reconsidering my position on Dewey surviving the movie. And the reason I'm reconsidering this is because of what Neve said and I quote, "We see a lot of Dewey in this film, and here's the key, guys. I think it's really nice to see his journey." Now, that comment, the end of that comment right there, if she just had said, we see a lot of Dewey in this film, okay, cool. But the fact that she tags this thing at the end and says, I think it's really nice to see his journey. Now, if he ends up being killed, right, at the midpoint of this movie, it is hard for me to imagine Neve speaking with such excitement and endearment about us seeing Dewey's journey in the movie. I mean, this is something she's talking about. She's excited for us as fans to see. So would she really list this as something she's excited for us to see, knowing that his journey ends with him being, slaughtered in the film by Ghostface? I just don't think she would say that. Again, I could imagine her saying something like, I'm excited for fans to see Dewey back on the screen. Something like that. That would have no implication to me as far as what could happen to him. But for her to specifically say that she's excited for us to see his journey, it makes me wonder, guys, if Dewey will indeed survive this movie. Now, I'm not yet ready to say that I've changed my mind, because I have held this position with looking at the evidence for a long time. But I will say this, I am really thinking very hard right now about what my final prediction will be when I post my Scream 5 final predictions video tomorrow on Tuesday the 11th. I will make a final prediction, so stay tuned to see how this ends up turning out for my predictions. Okay, next up, let's listen to Courtney's final word.
I want them to see this incredible cast. I want them to, to laugh, to have the same kind of interesting callbacks. I want them to, they're going to experience a movie that's very similar to the first one. It's scarier, probably. It's how many, what was 25 years ago? So it's up to date in a different way. Even though Scream will always be classic, this is just like an updated, cool, hip, scary, funny movie.
Now, what I want to focus on in this clip is that Courtney says how it's very similar to the first one and that it's scarier than Scream 96. Now, this is something that Courtney has been very consistent in saying throughout all of her interviews since she started going on the interview campaign a few months ago. And we continue hearing how this sequel has a similar feel to the original, but that Radio Silence is also bringing a darker tone to the movie. Now, Courtney went on to say how Scream 5 is updated in a different way, which I think she means it's updated by today's standards. That they're taking like the smart technology, all of the current horror and pop culture, and they're updating it to be a 2020, 2021, 2022 references. I think that's what she's talking about, how it's being updated. And she closed by saying that the new film is an updated, cool, hip, scary, funny movie. That's a lot of adjectives to describe the movie in rapid fire form. And for all of us Scream fans, though, if you think about what she said, it's updated, it's cool, hip, scary, it's funny. That's exactly what we want to see from Scream 5. I mean, that is what a Scream movie is. They're everyone that comes out. They've all had those elements. So that's what we want to hear. That's what we want to see. So that's exciting. Now, let's hear from our final Og3 member and see what David Arquette, his final word is going to be on Scream 5 and what he's most excited for fans to see.
I'm really excited for audiences to see this incredible world that they've been a part of for 24 years and these characters that they've loved, and to see how they've, progressed and where they're at. And I'm excited to scare them. I'm excited for them to laugh, and I'm excited for them to see this new group of incredibly wonderful actors just giving incredible performances. I'm also excited for people to see Dewey and Gale together on screen again. And Neve, I'm really excited for Neve to come back and the feeling that people get where she's like this badass again.
So one of the things I love about David in general, and this clip specifically, is just how much genuine excitement you hear in his voice. It is clear that he is excited about this movie. And it's so great to hear him talk about how he can't wait for us as fans to see how the OG3 have progressed and where they are all at in their lives at this point, and how much he looks forward to scaring us. Now, I think my favorite part was when he talked about how excited he is for us to see Gale and Dewey on screen together again, and to see Neve come back and be a bad blank again. I just love that because for me personally, one of the things I'm most excited to see in the movie is, in fact, Sydney coming back, kicking some ghost face tail in the finale, and just seeing her be that amazing, brave, courageous survivor that she's been in the first 4 films. I'm just so ready to see that again. Like, it really is one of the things I am so pumped to see. Every time the trailer or an ad comes out and we see Sydney there in Stu's house with the gun out, and she's just, man, she's on the hunt. She's on the prowl. She is not, being chased and hunted this time. She is going after Ghostface. I'm just so ready to see that. All right, guys, that is the final word from our OG3 and Marley Shelton, because Judy Hicks is a legacy character, having been in Scream 4, and I think she's often forgotten, or at the very least, she's often not mentioned a whole lot when we talk about the OG3 characters. So I did want to include her comments in this video as well, because I thought that was important and that she had something cool to say. All right, now depending on whether you are seeing the movie on Thursday night or on Friday, like I am on Friday morning, we are only 3 or 4 days, respectively, away from Scream 5. So guys, buckle up, get your popcorn ready, because it is almost showtime. Well, that is it for this update, but I will be back soon with more Scream and other horror movie content. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, this is Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Thank you for watching.